What's up, everybody? It's your boy Keefy with a late night weekly ritual edition. This is ghostcultmag.com's weekly rock and metal news show. Major announcements, huge festivals being announced and their lineups, analyzed a little, big tour announcements, major stories in rock and metal. This is the second week in a row I'm doing this late night, early morning on a Friday. Hello, out there, world. We are going live on YouTube. YouTube is the best place to enjoy this show because it's got a lot of fun things. But we're also on TikTok and IG. Thanks for being here. I will try to participate. Anybody that asks us questions on IG and TikTok, I will try to help you out. Anybody that joins us on YouTube and hooks us up with a super chat of $5 or more, I will do a shot of this Metallica Blackened American whiskey, of which they sent me this bottle. I am still trying to get through a shot at a time, a glass at a time on occasion. For those that don't know, like I said, this is our weekly show. And this is where we do the thing. This is also a fundraiser. We are doing an ongoing fundraiser to replace our camera gear that got broken last fall in an accident at a festival. There's a link in our description. There's a link in our bio where you can donate, and we appreciate any help. If you've ever enjoyed anything we've done, cool. We thank you. Thank us back with a couple of bucks to help us with our fundraiser. And again, if you want to get something for your money, there's always a super chat on YouTube where I will do a shot of whiskey or amuse myself. And we've got an interesting show this week. We've got an interesting show. There's a lot of stuff to cover. I am once again doing this late night, but I am here. I'm here for y'all. I appreciate everybody. Ghost Cult is over 10 years in the business. We do bring in some money from affiliate deals and some advertising, but really we are just like a DIY band. We are an independent website and not corporate backed. So we appreciate you. If you're new here, ghostcultmag.com, come check us out. Band interviews of all genres of rock and metal, festivals around the world covered, concerts every week, all kinds of fun stuff. So let's get to it. That was the intro. If you're on YouTube, I have these little banners that pop up that are pretty cool. And we start the show with some announcements, usually, especially anyone that has passed away. And let's add this to the stream and put this in a view where you can see me. I'll be in the bottom right-hand corner. Here's our little deck to run through. And let's hit it to hit it. See, I just want to do one thing quick. Right, here we go. So, in the news this week, we had the passing of a music legend, Tom Verlaine. It may not be a name super familiar to metal people, but Tom Verlaine was at the dawn of punk in America. He formed sort of a proto-punk band, the Neon Boys, in New York City in the early 70s. That band became Television, hugely influential, started out kind of in the punk scene, but really they were, from the very beginning, less punk rock and more alternative. Literally the birth of alternative rock and indie rock was Television in a lot of ways. They also inspired a lot of post-punk, which, became prominent several years later in the early 80s. And Tom Verlaine died. He was 73, passed away after an illness. He had a great solo career. He was in many other supergroups and side projects. He was a 50-year collaborator with Patti Smith and co-wrote some of her hugest songs with her, and continued to have a close relationship with her all his life. And so while we don't own any photos of Tom Verlaine, and I don't want to get in trouble with anybody, I wanted to share this on YouTube. If you're watching, you can see our images associated with the show. And so the Great American Music Hall right here nearby me at the Ghost Cult HQ in San Francisco did a big tribute to him. He had played there many times, headlined there, and they put up his name in lights, which I thought was really cool. Tom Verlaine, even if you don't know him, he has inspired a lot of bands you love. Even the most brutal metal bands cite Television as an important band. So just check, if you're interested, check out the music. It may not be your cup of tea, but maybe it is. I don't know. And Plantera 33 is here. Official Ballin is here on IG. What's up, TikTokers? And I'll try to keep track of the comments here. If there are any, again, if you joined us, the best experience for the show is over on YouTube, where I take super chats and I do funny shots of whiskey and things. So Tom Verlaine passed away, very sad. On to some features this week here at the show. I like to call it, in case you missed it, features. Out today, the brand new album from Sanguisugabog. Try to say that 5 times fast. One of the coolest bands in death metal. Their brand new album, Homicidal Ecstasy, is out today. We interviewed Cedrik Davis, guitarist, bassist of the band, and he gave a breakdown of the entire album, songwriting, origins, all kinds of cool things about how that band makes music and how they approach things. Super laid back, cool dude, trucker hat bro. Really a fun interview. Check out the band and check them out. We appreciate them. Claudia opened the coffin. What's up? So that was the first big feature right here on YouTube. It'll be linked in the description after the show runs. There's also on TikTok and IG, we have little snippets of these interviews with a link back to the actual full interview. Sometimes we're able to post the entire interview if they're short. We also interviewed a band that I have looked up to and respected for many, many years. I interviewed Billy Grazia Day of Biohazard. He gave us an exclusive interview about how the Biohazard classic lineup reunion came about and how they really, you know, it's pretty wild because a lot of bands, you know, they end in acrimony or whatever, and then they never talk to each other ever again. And fans have a hard time accepting any lineup that's not the lineup that's indelible to them, that's important to them. And so Biohazard is reuniting with Evan Seinfeld. Their classic lineup is back together. They are playing huge festivals all around the world. They are apparently making new music to come soon. They announced their first show, their first couple of shows in the USA, including Blue Ridge Rock Festival. So I think it's pretty rad. And we talked to Billy all about it. And Billy's got 2 other bands, his BillyBio band, as well as Power Flow with Sendog from Cypress Hill. He's also got a charity organization called Crew Socks, which you can check out. That's really awesome. And he's in a bunch of other ventures, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, recording studio, producing other bands, all kinds of stuff. So it's really cool. And Billy's been a big supporter of Ghost Cult, so I got to say thank you to Billy. Also, The Warning. If you're not familiar with this band, this interview dropped today, Thursday, yesterday now, and it blew up. Holy shit, it blew up. Thousands of people came to the channel to talk about this band. I interviewed them at Aftershock Festival, so we're still rolling out our content. Some people were asking, like, why did this take so long? This was from the fall. We are a small operation with very, you know, my producer, Omar Cordy, is awesome at editing videos, but, you know, if I did like 35, 40 interviews in a month sometimes, he's got to edit all those. So just, you know, it takes us some time to roll out the content. We are sorry about that. We try hard. Chris Pix is here. 666. What's up? Always a supporter of Ghost Cult on Instagram. Thank you, Chris. Thanks for being here all the time. I appreciate you. This is our weekly rock and metal live stream. I am up very late in California, but that's no surprise. I'm always up late. With Insomnia, everything is a copy of a copy of a copy, if you get the Fight Club reference. But yeah, The Warning, killer band, fun interview, really great band. They put out an album last year, Error, which no shit was one of the best hard rock metal albums of the year. And that interview is just going gangbusters. So if you came here, especially on YouTube, from that interview, thank you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for the comments. Most of them were positive. Some of them were negative, whatever. Somebody asked, it's like, this sounds like this interviewer has never done interviews before. It's like, I've done thousands of interviews. I interviewed Ozzy Osbourne, Cannibal Corpse multiple times, half the Big Four. Like, I've done my share. Chill, yo. Just because you may not like the interview I did or whatever. It's, so I can take criticism. It's fine. Bring it in the comments if you've got some legit gripes with me. That's fine. I can take it. I'm a big boy. What else? Another feature this week. This is really cool. Naga Siren is a Norwegian post-hardcore band, and heavily influenced by post-hardcore. They have a new single out, Cut and Run. And our writer in India, Ralka Skejerseth, and I hope I said that correctly, and I apologize, Ralka, if I did not. She did a feature interview with the band, basically a magazine-style interview, where she wrote about them and did a big Q&A. They are a really interesting band. They talked about their new music. They have a new EP album they're working on. They talked about their favorite metal bars in their home country and other countries where they like to tour. Some of their influences. Really cool interview, feature stuff. Look out for more stuff from her, reviews and interviews, I promise you, in the future. She's killer. One of our rising stars on the staff. I'm super stoked to work with her. Speaking of interviews, I also interviewed for the Ghost Cult Magazine podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts. Please rate us and review us. I interviewed Niklas from Katatonia. Their brand new album is probably my favorite album of all of January, Sky Void of Stars, their first album on Napalm Records. Niklas has been in the band a long time. He talked about how they write together, their process, how they kind of took a hiatus and came back. And they are currently on tour with Solstafir in Europe. So if you're out in Europe, you definitely need to catch that tour. That tour is phenomenal. Solstafir and Katatonia co-headline tour. Oh my gosh. Easily one of the best tours of the early year so far. But yeah, the BillyBio interview is also a podcast in case you're interested, in case you don't have time to watch it on YouTube. It is an audio podcast mainly, so check it out on the podcast front. The Glacially Musical Podcast is a sister podcast to Ghost Cult. Here's our new logo if you're watching on YouTube. I am the co-host, and beer, metal, and swearing is our tagline. But obviously our logo is a dripping piece of vinyl. It's a dripping album. And so we really nerd out on vinyl. We talk about bands. We do deep dives into bands. And this week we had a very special extra episode of the podcast. We interrupted, or we normally don't try not to interrupt our series. We interrupted our series on Exodus. And we received in the mail, Nick and I both subscribed to the Metallica Vinyl Subscription Club, which is now not happening in 2023. So this was all of 2022, and the last album came out now with 4 unreleased Metallica songs. I don't know if it's not every day you get songs. You've heard these songs, but unreleased tracks. 2 of them never heard before for sure, and 2 live ones from right around the time the Black Album came out that are just absolutely crushing. So if you love Metallica, and there's always some Metallica news to talk about, we unboxed the album because they said it's gorgeous. It comes in this deluxe thing with some extras. We reacted to it. We reviewed it. Check us out. That's wherever you listen to podcasts. That's on YouTube as well. We'll link that. It's always linked in the description. Linktree.ee/glacially musical. Check it out. Also, I just like to shine some love on a podcast I was a guest on. I am frequently a guest on podcasts and asked to contribute to podcasts and give music industry advice because I used to do some band coaching. I'm a social media expert. I've been in the music industry a long time. I played in bands for a long time. So I'm often called upon to give advice. And I was the guest on the Millennial Musician podcast hosted by my friend and music industry professional, Shay Leonia. Shay Leonia she's also a professional musician. Think about the last album Halsey did with 9 Inch Nails. Think about if Pink did an album with like Gorillaz and also Health and Youth Code. Electronic, R&B, soul, pop, rock. She's got an incredible voice, but she's also an incredible coach for musicians. So if you got a band and you're trying to take your band to the next level and you want the advice of somebody who knows how to do all these things, release strategy, social media, coaching, check out her. Check me out on the podcast where I talked about how to, this came up where, you know, some people, there are websites out there that charge for reviews. And if you have a band, you should not ever pay for a review. You get what you pay for, and you shouldn't pay for a review. That removes the objectivity of the writer. And I'm a big, staunch non-fan. So check me out as a guest on Shay Leonia's podcast. Throw her some love. Give her a follow and a like also. I will tag her when I share this on social media. Let's talk about festivals. The news rundown starts with festival coverage. Incarceration Fest got announced. That takes place, if you've ever seen the movie Shawshank Redemption, and then Andy crawled through 3 miles of sewage to get to his freedom. I don't sound like Morgan Freeman, but that is an incredible movie, Shawshank Redemption. What's up, A_daily_ at IG. Thank you to everybody that's hanging in on TikTok. Looks like we got quite a few viewers. Thanks for being here. This is our rock and metal news show. We're also doing a fundraiser. Hit us up in the link in the bio. Throw us a couple of bucks. It would help. But Incarceration Fest announced their lineup today. Limp Bizkit, Pantera, Slipknot, Volbeat, Highly Suspect, Cold Chamber Reunion, Hatebreed, Lamb of God, In This Moment, Motionless in White, Under Oath, Megadeth, Bush, Flyleaf, with Lacey Sturm back in the band, Asking Alexandria, Wage War, Gore, and so many more. Incarceration Fest takes place at the Ohio State Reformatory. It's rock concerts, metal bands, and tattoos. And then also tours of the prison where the film was made. Super cool. You know, you want to take photos in a jail cell and get a tattoo by a world famous tattoo artist and then see some of the best metal bands in America and the world. Very cool. Also in the festival news this week, I'm going to dip down the Chiron so we're not overcoming. The Milwaukee Metalfest. I talked about this last week. Jamie Josta bought the brand. This is a Metalfest being revived after almost 20 years of not being in existence. Jamie bought the name and announced the first 30 bands. And I feel like I have the lineup here. Hang on one second. I don't think they are playing. But just to let you know, Lamb of God, Anthrax, Suicidal Tendencies, Napalm Death, Dark Angel, the Black Dahlia Murders new lineup, Obituary, Shadows Fall Reunion, and many more. And this is super cool. And just, the lineup is very deep between Fear Factory, Corrosion Conformity, After the Burial, Halo Effect coming over from Sweden, Dying Fetus, Immolation, Crowbar, Violence, Goat Whore shirt, son. Jungle Rot. I also got my suicidal hat on, right? I'm like an advertisement for this festival right now. Jungle Rot, Misery Index, Broken Hope, Terror, Macabre. I want to see Macabre. It's one of the few bands I have never seen. Gate Creeper, and so many more. As Jamie Josta's very swell shindig coming soon. Let's see what else. Oh, also, I skipped ahead too fast. Bloodstock Open Air has announced a bunch of new bands. The festival is headlined by Killswitch Engage, Meshuggah, and Megadeth, but it has added a ton of new bands. And just, Bloodstock, we cover it every year. It's in August every summer in the UK, and it is phenomenal. They do a great job. One of the best metal festivals in the world, and we always cover it. So shout out to them. I think Candlemass is the biggest name band that just got added, but quite a few big name bands have now been added to the bill. Very, very cool. For those wondering, I'm looking, my screen is here, my webcam and my Instagram are here, and my TikTok is over here. So I'm not looking away from the screen like a doofus. I'm actually reading off of my script and using my slides. Shout out to Most Epic Adventures. Rob Zip on YouTube turned me on to StreamYard, and I've been using it the last month, and I'm really rather enjoying it. It's got a lot of features and capabilities. I'm tempted to get on board and do the paid versions. I can take the little duck logo off, and we got the Ghost Cult logo there. So I think it's pretty cool. Tell me if you enjoy it. So far, I'm enjoying it. Turnstile Turnstile is so popular right now. They have just been announced as the headliner for Furnace Fest. I got this information courtesy of Lamb Goat, a site we're friends with. There's a lot of, sort of unspoken competition between all the metal websites. I don't particularly, we just do what we do. I try not to really look at what they do, but I will tell you, Lamb Goat has all this hardcore news before anybody. So really, if you're a hardcore kid, we post a lot of hardcore stuff. We talk about it here on this show. But if you need the up-to-the-minute hardcore news, follow Lamb Goat at their website at Lamb Goat, as well as all their socials. Also announced this week, Atlanta Doomfest. Just wow. At Boggs, Atlanta Doomfest, Demonaut, Summoner Circle, Tommy Stewart's Direwolf, Dead Vibes Ensemble, Empty Black, Temptress, and Blackjack Mountain, and so many more bands. What a cool little festival that is. A lot of doom metal is one of my jams. Anybody who knows me, and super cool. Atlanta Doomfest, shout out to them. Oblivion Acess, this got announced actually like a couple of weeks ago. The first bands were announced for Oblivion Acess, but I wanted to make sure that I raised awareness of them for this show. They take place down in Austin, Texas. We covered it last year. Maybe we'll cover it again. One of these years I got to get down to Austin. Never been. Here it's awesome. Godflesh, Tim Hecker, Have a Nice Life, and so many more bands. Chat Pile, just so Planning for a Burial. Bunch of killer bands, cool town, cool festival to travel for. Also announced, hanging out over in Europe, the Isola Rock Festival, which is going to take place in May, mid-May, and features Goblin, Claudio Simonetti's Goblin. If you love horror movies, you know who Goblin is, psychedelic rock and soundtrack music. Really the precursor to all the synthesizer stuff, on par with like some Pink Floyd, actually, psychedelic rock, but also horror music like John Carpenter. And so Goblin, Simonetti scored a lot of these Fulci horror movies. If you love gory, unbelievable, gory horror movies, you need to check out Fulci. And you need to check out Goblin. And Goblin is the headliner of this festival among a bunch of other killer bands. So just check them out if you're in Europe. I believe it's Italy. I could be wrong. Manorfest is coming in the UK and also has a sick lineup. Overkill, Moonspell, My Dying Bride, Wolfheart, Soilwork, Sorcerer, just so many bands. Another cool festival. A pretty cool festival I wasn't aware of that looks really cool is this Gourd in the Heart of Texas Fest, with completely unreadable logos except for Putrid Pile. Like, you gotta love it. So let me go try to pull up the, here's the lineup. Gourd in the Heart of Texas. Like, deep in the heart of Texas. Anybody who's a fan of Pee Wee Herman's Big Adventure, the stars are bright in the middle of the night. Deep in the heart of Texas. Good stuff. You get a little singing from me today. Probably get demonetized just for singing that, and probably get demonetized for saying demonetized, because that's how it happens. That's how it happens, y'all. That's how it happens. But all right, Gourd in the Heart of Texas. Here's the bands. Immortal Suffering, Brodequin, Condemned, Gore Infamous, Jihad, Visceral, Putrid Pile, as I mentioned, Sean Whitaker, Stabbing, Cemetery Rapist, Peeling Flesh, Kill Everything, Reviled, Desecration, Sexual Atrocities, Virulent Excision, Architectural Genocide, Defiled Crypt, Excrescence, Unnecessary Surgery, Goremonger, Scab Hag, Deflowered, Regurgitated Entrails, and many more. I just think these names are hilarious. Hilarious. Drop a comment with your most outlandish death metal name beside an Infant Annihilator. We all know that one already, y'all. Let's see what else is happening in the festival news world. Mutants Fest. This is pretty cool, man. Mutants Fest, the first wave, are announced in early June in Arkansas. Another place I have never been, but might like to go. Might like to go to Arkansas because it's got Yob, Caven, my homies in Spotlights, shout out to Chris Enriquez, the drummer, Closet Witch, Darsombra, Deadbird, Throat Locust just put out a new album, Mutants Burlesque, Armageddon Time, Claw Marks, and so many more. So that's a really cool festival. That's the first wave of announcements. There's more to come. But right off the bat, Yob, Caven, and Spotlights, I should be there. It's like my kind of festival, you know? And I think that might be, is that it for the festival? Nope, one more. Noise Pop right here in the hometown of Keefy right now. Not my home city, my birthplace, but where I live right now, San Francisco. Noise Pop is coming. Synthwave, electronica, indie rock, metal, and the lineup, it's kicking off in just a couple of weeks. I'll probably drop this one more time in 2 weeks' time. Yola Tango, Boy Harsher, who I'm going to see, have a ticket, very excited. Duster, Fiddler, Bob Mould of Husker Du and Sugar, Covet, Taipei Houston, so many cool bands, so many, Death by Stereo, Madeline Kinney, Lily, Rex, Tsunami Bomb, like lots of cool bands. White Reaper, so definitely something you want to check out. And they also have a film festival. This I'm super hype about. I got to remember when my Boy Harsher show is because it might conflict with this. The soundtrack that Boy Harsher did last year for the horror film they made, The Runner, starring Chris Estefandi from King Woman, is good. These are all going to play around town, but mostly Alamo Draft House and a few other places. So they're showing the Noise Pop Festival is also showing a film series, The Runner, CB4 starring Chris Rock, the fictional rap comedy movie, kind of like the Spinal Tap for rap in the 90s, gangster rap. The Elephant Recording Company, the Elephant 6 Recording Company, the Flaming Licks Lost in Space Bubble Concert film, Watt Stacks, one of the coolest documentaries I've ever seen, and the actual Free Tibet concert in full, or I think, the video version, that's happening at the Outdoor Cinema, February 26th. So definitely worth checking out. Bon Sloth is here. Bon Sloth, you have one of the coolest names ever, coolest handles. Let's talk about some tour news, and obviously the 800-pound gorilla in the room this week. The biggest story of the week is the retirement from touring of Ozzy. Ozzy has canceled his entire 2023 tour dates, and he is probably never touring again. He put out a statement to fans, if you haven't heard this already, that he's just heartbroken. He had a fall 4 years ago in his home. He has never really recovered. He's had surgeries, multiple back and neck surgeries, stem cell replacement therapy, constant physical therapy and movement therapy and all kinds of things just so he could go back out and perform. He did that a couple of appearances live, basically, but not any concerts. And he's really heartbroken because Ozzy loves to tour. He loves his fans. He needs that adrenaline rush, and he's really sad. He's probably never going to tour again. He is moved to England now, and I think the plan for him is possible. He could do a one-off festival, like an exclusive. So I could see like a London Ozfest happening, or maybe Ozzy joins Download or Bloodstock Open Air as the main act. Just heartbreaking. The guy's not gone. He's still here. And I certainly don't want him to, die from touring, but like, it's sad. Ozzy's been a fixture in the touring circuit for 40, 50 years, and especially as a solo artist where he played arenas and stuff. So, rough stuff out there. Freaks on Parade has been announced. Rob Zombie and Alice Cooper co-headline tour. He did Freaks on Parade last year with Mudvayne and Static X. Now he's got Alice Cooper as the co-headliner with special guest Ministry and Filter. New Filter album coming soon. Cooper just dropped a new album recently. Rob Zombie had a record within the last couple of years. So very cool. Let me know if you're hype for the Freaks on Parade tour. I like the Halloween colors on the poster, by the way. If you're here watching on YouTube, you are seeing the colors. Again, join us on YouTube if you're watching this on IG or TikTok, and drop us a super chat. If you drop us a super chat for $5 or more, I will take a shot of this blackened whiskey. In the meantime, I will take a sip of my seltzer. The Decibel Tour has been announced for this spring. Dark Funeral is coming back to America. One of the greatest Swedish black metal bands ever. 200 Stab Wounds, Cattle Decapitation, and others. Decibel Tour. Get your tickets. I believe they're on sale today. Killer Diller. Fear Factory, we talked about this a little last week. That Fear Factory has re-signed the Nuclear Blast. They're kicking off their tour soon with Static X, the Rise of the Machine tour. We're imminently going to get definitely an announcement of the new Fear Factory singer, and probably or possibly either a brand new Fear Factory song or maybe a new version of an old song, so you can get a feel for what this guy sounds like, or gal. I believe it's a guy. We don't. Supposedly a somewhat known singer is the new singer of Fear Factory. So very interesting stuff. Along, Dino Cazares, who we interviewed recently, I'll link it in the description, along with Mike Heller on drums, Mike Heller from Malignancy and a bunch of other killer bands, as well as Tony Campos of Static X, who was doing double duty on that tour, playing with both bands. I'm going to try to blast through these tour posters quick, and then we'll get to the regular news, and then we'll call it a day. I'm going to try to get through this a little quicker. It's late at night. I got some other stuff to do. I got to get up early. Carcass has announced a tour of the U.S. with Municipal Waste, Sacred Reich, and Creeping Death. What a killer. Bill, Carcass just slaying it. They just finished the Amada Mart tour in December, and they're coming right back here in April. Also, Vomit Forth has announced a tremendous tour. They're becoming one of the rising bands in the U.S. So Vomit Forth has announced a new tour. Try to get there if you can. I do believe they're playing here where I live in San Francisco, and I'm going to try to go. Conan has announced a headline tour of the U.S., the Evidence of Immortality U.S. tour, kicking off May 5th in Chicago at Reggie's, ending up at the Northwest Terror Fest in Seattle. Conan, one of the best sludgy doom bands in the world. Check them out. Much love to them. We are overdue for an interview with those guys. Maybe when they come to San Francisco, I think they're coming to Oakland or SAC. I will try to interview them. Tool has not announced anything, but Danny Carey received a Drameo Drummer of the Year award for 2022, and he said there might be a big announcement from Tool about a tour. So I think the getting's good right now for Tool. They're headlining some of these Danny Wimmer festivals, and I think they're going to do one more run for Fear Inoculum. The album continues to sell. Perhaps the biggest, one of the biggest selling records of their career, for sure, if not the biggest. And so this is a funny picture on YouTube of Maynard looking like a freak. We love you, Maynard. Pussifer's got some summer touring lined up for Europe as well as the US here and there. So very cool. Demon Hunter has announced their 20 Years in Exile tour with direct support from Opponent. Definitely catch them. Demon Hunter, fun band, great band live. Tarja Turenin, formerly of Nightwish, has announced a solo headline tour with direct support from Armored Dawn. Living the Dream Tour 2023. Definitely don't miss Tarja. She tours all over the world, but she doesn't tour the USA that much. I talked briefly about this last week. Mr. Bungles, Melvins, and Spotlights. Now we have the full tour routing. It's not that many dates, got to be honest. They will be playing here in Oakland. It's mostly a West Coast tour. LA, Sick New World Fest in Las Vegas, Denver, Salt Lake City, Seattle, and a couple of other places. So definitely, if you get the opportunity, hopefully there will be an East Coast leg of that tour announced. Again, shout out to Spotlights and Melvins. We love you. I don't care for Fall Out Boy, but interesting that Fall Out Boy has booked their huge headline tour with insane opening bands. Alkaline Trio, Bring Me the Horizon, Holy Cow, who, we expected them to come back to the U.S. Royal the Serpent, Alkaline Trio, awesome, especially now that Skiba is done with Blink-182, back to Alkaline Trio. Maybe we'll get a new trio album. Newfound Glory, good band. 4 Years Strong, good band. The Academy is, good band. Games We Play, Daisy Grenade, and a few others. So very cool. Lots of dates. I don't care for Fall Out Boy. If you really love Alkaline Trio, Newfound Glory, 4 Years Strong, or Bring Me the Horizon, or Royal the Serpent, go and leave early. Beat the traffic home. You know what I'm saying? Not my thing, Fall Out Boy, just going to be honest. Bush has kicked off their headline tour with direct support from Jerry Cantrell, Silver Sun Pickups, Starcrawler. Who else? There's another opening band that's not on the poster, but I was trying to think. Devora, who's an up-and-coming rocker, is going to be doing the New York City show. So, yeah, lots of cool stuff there. And Health and Author and Punisher announced a new tour. It was actually too late to get into our show last week. Wells Drums is here. What's up, Wells Drums? How are you? Thanks for being here. Thanks to everybody for being here. And Author and Punisher Dark Territory 2023 tour. Health and Author and Punisher. Holy cow. What a good lineup. Mostly the East Coast. And I believe the Dark Force Festival, which might be in Jersey. I have to look that up. We'll do a bigger deep dive on them next week. Allegiant has announced a new headline tour in North America, a brief headline run. They're still supporting their album Damnum, which came out in the spring of 2022. Obviously, Riley McShane left the band. It was a big shock to the world. Ezra has come back in the band to do the vocal duties, at least for some touring. They shared this photo you can watch on YouTube here of the band. Somebody was like, why is Brandon not in the photo? Is he? I'm sure Brandon is not out of the band. You would have heard about it, but he probably took the photo. People are like, the minute they see somebody not in the photo, they flip out. Calm down, everybody. It's going to be okay. This is into the regular news, right? Let's get into the regular news. The news rundown, just the facts. This is where we just blast through the top stories of the week. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, whatever you feel about them, has announced their nominees for the class of 2023. Judas Priest made it last year. And this is not the first time that Iron Maiden has been nominated, by the way. They've been nominated twice before and did not nearly get enough votes. The fan vote was launched, and the fan vote only counts for 1% of all the voting. But it is kind of a morale thing. And I have to say, despite the loyalty of metal fans, that is unquestionable. Metal fans do not show up for the Hall of Fame vote, for the fan vote, and probably out of a sign of disrespect to the Hall of Fame. And we don't, the Grammys are coming up soon. We'll talk about them next week. We don't care about award shows here at Ghost Cult unless they're the metal award shows. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame matters to the bands themselves. It helps them. It doesn't necessarily help their careers, but it does help them sell more records and stay around. Maiden is as good as ever right now. We covered them twice last year. It was phenomenal. And so here are your nominees for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And remember that, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame has always had non-rock and roll bands from the very beginning, so not a surprise. But Iron Maiden, the White Stripes, Rage Against the Machine, Soundgarden, Joy Division, Kate Bush, Willie Nelson, A Tribe Called Quest, the rappers, George Michael, the pop star and sometimes rocker, the Spinners, the classic rock and R&B band from the 50s, Warren Zevon, great songwriter, Cyndi Lauper. For some reason, Missy Elliott and Sheryl Crow and Kate Bush are all nominated. I might have said Kate Bush already, but they're all nominated. And it's Rage and Soundgarden have been eligible for years and not gotten voted in. And Iron Maiden should have been in already. That seems to be the prevailing wisdom. But, there's a lot of industry darlings. I love Jack White. I don't think the White Stripes are necessarily a Hall of Fame caliber band. You can comment on, drop in a comment and let me know what you think about that. But, White Stripes, man, like they're not really what I consider a Hall of Fame groundbreaking band. They're just a really cool band that was very popular. Rage Against the Machine broke new ground, destroyed paradigms, inspired a whole generation of bands. Iron Maiden is an all-time great band, not just because we love heavy metal and they're one of the greats in heavy metal. They are one of the greatest bands ever, and they reshaped music, and they should be in. But anyway, we'll see what happens. My hopes are low. But, Priest got in, so Maiden really ought to be in. I will hide the banner here so you can see the whole slide. Bandcamp Friday. Today is Bandcamp Friday, and the sound of my voice, if you have a band, if you have a DIY label, if you have a record store, and you have some kind of Bandcamp account, drop a comment with your Bandcamp link. Tag your band at least if you can't make a hot link on some of these social networks. Bandcamp Friday. Bands, help yourself. Bandcamp doesn't take their cut of a sale, so you get the opportunity to make the most money you will ever get from a sale of your songs, except at a show. So sell those records. There's no shame in trying to and asking for money to sell the music you made. If you pressed the vinyl, made a CD, spent the money to make a recording, get paid for your music, put it up on Bandcamp, share your Bandcamp Friday link. We'll be posting on our socials where you'll get an opportunity to drop your links also. Slipknot surprise dropped a new song today. Bone Church, a totally new song that they've had kicking around for 6 or 7 years since the tour to support Point 5, the Gray Chapter, back in 2014, 2015. And they reused the video footage from their last video for Yen. So it's Bone Church, the Yen version officially. But new Slipknot song. Let us know what you think. Maybe I'll do a new live stream where I just review that song. React and review. Let's see. Maybe. Let's blast through these news stories. Cliff Burton Day is a week from today in the Castro Valley, not too far from me here in the Bay Area where Cliff was born. Twilight Heart Sheol is here once again. Good to see you. I know that name from our feeds. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you. And, yep. Cliff Burton Day, you know, the legend from Metallica. And Cliff Burton Day is they have a series of interviews with Cliff's family, friends, peers. They sell Cliff merch that benefits the Cliff Burton Foundation, which supports music education in schools in California. Support a worthy cause. Good stuff. Overkill dropped a brand new single. They got a brand new album coming soon, Scorched. The new single's a banger. They just finished the tour in Europe. And super pumped for a new Overkill album. One of the most consistent bands ever. Look at this merch bundle if you're on YouTube. Check out this bundle. This bundle is dope. I rather like it. Gel has announced the big tour. This is actually really awesome. Gel and Big Laugh have announced they're kicking off a tour, or they're already kind of on their way in a tour. Maybe their last few dates are this weekend. Gel just did a concert in a Jamaican restaurant, and I'm going to pull this up. Sorry for the clackety-clack of the typing. Once again, courtesy of our friends at Lamb Goat. I'm going to try to bring this up on the stream on YouTube. I'm just going to play like a minute of it. But let's see. No. One more second. Bear with me. I did not plan properly for this. Alrighty. No. All right, I can't show it to you, but it was really awesome. Go look it up. Gel Jamaican Restaurant Concert. Hilarious and awesome. And shout out to whatever restaurant that was that let them play a concert in a Jamaican restaurant. And let's see. What else? We're getting through this. We're almost done. Year of the Knife has dropped a brand new EP, Dust to Dust. 3 brand new songs with their new vocalist, Maddie Watkins. Philadelphia, Philadelphia's own straight edge hardcore band, Year of the Knife. A little bit metal, mostly hardcore. Great band. Great EP. Streaming now everywhere you stream records. They're doing a pre-order for the vinyl. That's not ready yet, as usual, with everybody in the world. Acid Magus, or Magus, one of the coolest bands in Australia, stoner doom band, dropped a brand new single. They got a new album coming out. Check them out. Very cool stuff. Very enjoyable doom metal. 7 Seconds dropped a huge re-release of their classic album, Walk Together, Rock Together today. It's got the remastered new version of the album on vinyl. It's got Trust Records, who puts out a lot of cool repackages. They did the Circle Jerks reissues a couple of years ago. And Walk Together, Rock Together is an immaculate hardcore record. Us Them Group is here. Roman Empire is here. What's up? Thanks for joining our weekly rock and metal news show. Dave, one of my favorites. Thanks for being here. talking about the 7 Seconds reissue. There are cartoons by Brian Walsby. There are interviews with other bands that 7 Seconds inspired. Really cool stuff. This is how you do a reissue. I'm really still hoping to get my hands on a copy of this. We'll see. And I would like to interview that band. That's another band I have not interviewed. I would like to cross off my bucket list. I would like to interview you, Kevin Seconds, if you're out there and you somehow see this, or someone who knows you sees this, or your publicist sees this. One of the feel-good stories of the week, our homeboy, Marc Lopes. You might know him from the Ross the Boss band. You might know him from his own band, Let Us Pray, from Rhode Island and Boston. He is the new singer of Metal Church. We talked about this as a rumor last week. And I couldn't be happier for this dude. Pizza's up to you, dude. All the pizza in the world and love to you. What a phenomenal heavy metal singer. Metal Church, suffered the loss of their singer, Mike Howe, who committed suicide during the pandemic. Just a horrible story. They already had another singer die in the past, David Wayne. So just, heartbreaking stuff. Great. Metal Church has a new album. They've already recorded. They shared a snippet of a song. That's how we knew it was Marc Lopes' voice. It sounded just like him. They already have test pressings, so I think there's a new album announcement imminent, probably a new single and video. All the love to Metal Church. Very excited for a new Metal Church album. Did not expect that this year, but very cool. Classless Act. This is the last story in the news. Then we do the mailbag and we peace out. Classless Act today has dropped a brand new double single David Bowie covers. What else can you say? Fun band. We interviewed them at Aftershock Festival, and they just dropped 2 awesome covers. I got to hear this right before I went on air. Starman and all the young dudes. If you love David Bowie, if you love covers, Classless Act, one of the coolest bands from the LA area. They opened up for Motley Crue and Def Leppard all spring and summer. I interviewed those dudes. I'll link that in the description also. Just one of the most fun up-and-coming bands. They have an acoustic EP out right now. They're working on a new full-length album. Stay tuned to that band. I know, people focus and hype up Greta Van Fleet, but these guys are the real deal. They don't sound like carbon copies. They are making real original rock, and they have fun doing it, and that's what I love the most about them. So you got the seal of the Keefy 2 thumbs up seal of approval about Classless Act. Oh, also, sorry about this. One other thing. Tomahawk is reissuing 2 of their awesome albums. The self-titled debut, as well as Oddfellows. Great band. Would love to see Tomahawk. They had their Tonic Immobility album a couple of years ago. I reviewed it. Mike Patton, everything. Mike Patton all day. He's pretty busy with Mr. Bungle right now. It'd be pretty cool for Tomahawk to come back, though. And I think this is the last story. Vic Rattlehead got a Funko. Holy shit. It's out for pre-order right now. It's a Hot Topic exclusive. If you love Megadeth, you need to have this. This is clearly the Rust in Peace album cover. Vic Rattlehead with the piece of nuclear material. And Planet Bit joined. Hi, Planet Bit on Instagram. Vic Rattlehead Funko. I'm all about it. I may have already pre-ordered this thing as a present to myself because it's been a rough month and I needed a Prezi. Sometimes retail therapy is the best, yo. Retail therapy. You need some sometimes. Even when the funds are not agreeing. And so I think we're near the end of the show. I think that's the last news item. And so coming up now, as we end the show, is the mailbag segment, which I will flip the card in a second. The mailbag part of our show is a segment where I share something I've been jamming out to, something I received in the mail from a label or band, something I bought at a record store, a Vic Rattlehead Funko eventually, Super 7 toys, books I'm reading. So this week I've been spinning some vinyl here at the HQ, and I was like, man, I don't think I've ever shared this vinyl that I got. So I wanted to do this in the mailbag. This is my Anthrax. Everybody knows what a big Anthrax fan I am. My Anthrax worship music vinyl. This is the last Anthrax record. It seems like Anthrax this is a long time ago now, but Anthrax is working on new music. They might do the James Heald. The Anthrax might do a new album. They might do a new EP. They might do a series of singles and then make that all one album. I think that's a cool approach. Slipknot's talking about doing that. They already dropped the single. So here's Anthrax. This is the Alex Ross artwork. He's been doing all their artwork since the early 2000s. He is the infamous comic book creator and artist. This is the beautiful gatefold with more of the artwork and photos of the band. Worship Music is an incredible album. It's brutal, it's fun, it's rock, it's heavy. Let's take a look at this custom vinyl. This is the cool, it's kind of like not the swirly, but like the little cool 60s or like psychedelic lava lamp effect. Anybody who could see this on all the socials. So just very cool. And the Anthrax pentagram A on the label. Very cool stuff. Came in the paper with the Mylar. I mentioned earlier in the show, the Glacially Musical Podcast, we always talk about normalizing the Mylar. And so, yeah, that's our show. That's it for the show this week. To get a little bit more me at the end here. You know, I say every week at this juncture of the show, it's a tough time in the world. So please take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And remember to stay as metal as humanly possible. Thank you for watching. If you made it this far, you are one of the real ones. Please like and subscribe. Like and subscribe to our socials or our podcast. Throw us a comment if you hated this. Throw us a comment if you like this. And I appreciate everybody for being here on our live stream. Enjoy this on the rebroadcast on the networks you can. And follow us at Ghost Cult Mag for the up-to-minute metal news. Dan and Jordan Red is here. What's up? I am taking off. Peace. Good to see y'all. Happy Friday. Happy weekend. Be safe out there. Peace.